Ever feel like you're just stuck, caught in that same old daily grind? Well, today we're going to dive into a really powerful story about breaking free from all that. It's inspired by Richard Harris's incredible book, The Art of Risk, and it's all about how to transform your life one smart step at a time. So let me just start by asking you a question, and I want you to really think about it. Are you truly living your life, or are you just existing? It's a huge question, right? But that single thought is the spark that ignites the entire journey we're about to follow.
All right, let's meet our main guy, Shubham. His life, it was pretty much a predictable loop. You know the one: office, home, repeat. The weekends were a nice little escape, sure, but deep down, he just knew something really important was missing. He was trapped in a routine that felt safe, yeah, but it was leaving him feeling completely and totally unfulfilled.
Shubham's life is really the perfect example of what we call the comfort zone trap. It's safe, it's easy, but it's also where our personal growth goes to die. So, his call to adventure, the one thing that was going to shake everything up, well, it came in the form of a book he just happened to stumble upon, The Art of Risk. The very first concept in the book that just hit him was this idea of calculated risk. Now, this is not about reckless danger. It's not about just jumping off a cliff without a plan. No, it's about looking at the absolute worst case scenario and then actually preparing for it. It's like building your own safety net. This completely made him rethink his friend Arjun's bungee jump. He used to think it was just crazy, but now he understood. It was a calculated risk, totally backed by safety measures and preparation. And that realization, well, that was the spark. Shubham decided he wasn't just going to read about this stuff, he was going to do it. He was ready to take his very first small but incredibly meaningful calculated risk.
This one quote from the book basically became his mantra. It's such a simple but powerful idea, right? Fear shrinks when preparation grows. The real key to taking a risk isn't some kind of blind courage. It's about building genuine confidence through planning.
So how did he do it? He broke it all down. His dream was to get into freelance photography. So first, he identified his fears. What if I don't get any clients? What if I fail financially? What if people make fun of me? Then, he made a plan for each of those fears. No clients? He'd just offer free shoots to build a portfolio. Financial struggles? He'd keep a part-time job for a while. And people mocking him? You know what? That's their problem. And then, he took the first real, tangible step and bought a camera. And then, of course, the universe just had to test him. A friend's wedding photographer canceled at the very last minute. The old Shubham would have run for the hills. But the new Shubham, the one armed with preparation, he saw it for exactly what it was, a calculated risk. So he said yes. And the result? The photos were absolutely amazing. That first success, well, it really fueled him. It gave him the confidence to move on to the book's second big lesson, building resilience. The book describes resilience as being like a muscle. The more you challenge it, the stronger it gets. It's not about never falling down. It's about getting back up every single time. Just look at this shift in his mindset. Shubham had this deep, deep fear of public speaking, and he was totally haunted by a debate failure from college. The before version of him, he avoided it at all costs. But the after version, he actually voluntarily gave a team update at work. His palms were sweaty, his heart was pounding, but he did it. He was exercising his resilience muscle. And this was the core insight that was driving him. This idea that staying comfortable doesn't actually protect you. It makes you weaker. And that thought is what pushed him to say yes when his friend Arjun invited him on a trek, which was a direct confrontation with his fear of heights. So during that trek, he learned this critical technique. He was basically paralyzed by the sheer height of it all, and Arjun gave him some simple advice. He said, don't look at the whole mountain. Just focus on your next step. And by breaking that huge, overwhelming fear into small, manageable actions, he actually made it all the way to the top. Okay, so let's move on to the next lesson, because this is where it all starts to build on itself. This one is all about understanding that very fine line between true courage and just simple recklessness. They can look so similar from the outside, but their foundations are completely different. So Shubham did some serious self-reflection here, literally mapping out his habits. And he realized his life was governed by two extremes. On one side, all the things he avoided out of fear, and on the other, all the things he did on pure impulse. He was living on the edges, caught between fear and recklessness, but never in the center, which is where true courage actually lies. So he immediately applied this new insight at work.
When a high-risk project came up, everybody else saw a huge gamble, but he saw an opportunity for a calculated risk. He volunteered to lead it, he planned everything meticulously, and he turned that potential failure into a massive success.
And this part just illustrates the climax of that lesson so brilliantly. Urgent suggested they go skydiving. The old Shubham would have just laughed. No way. But the new Shubham, he saw it as the ultimate test. And he didn't just jump. He researched the company. He spoke to the instructors. So when he finally jumped, it wasn't a reckless act. It was courage. It was a risk he had fully prepared for.
This leads us to one of the most important lessons of all, reframing our relationship with failure. It's not the end of the road. In fact, it's an absolutely essential part of the map.
This quote from the book just completely changed his whole perspective. Think about it. If you aren't failing every now and then, you're probably not challenging yourself enough. Failure isn't a final verdict. It's just data. It's feedback telling you exactly what to adjust for the next attempt. So he literally started collecting his failures like they were lessons. He lost a photography contest, and because of that, he learned all about lighting. A presentation failed because of a tech glitch, so he learned to always have a backup plan. He didn't finish a cycling marathon, but he discovered his endurance limits and exactly how to train smarter next time. Every setback became a setup for a comeback.
And finally, the last major lesson, and it's maybe the one that ties this all together. You don't have to do it alone. True growth is so much more powerful when it's shared. Shubham had always been a bit of a lone wolf, always trying to solve every single problem by himself. So he made a conscious decision to change that. He started actively engaging with his photography group, listening to other people's perspectives, and sharing his own challenges.
And what he discovered was that a community isn't just a safety net there to catch you when you fall. It's a source of new ideas, it's a mirror that reflects your own potential, and it's this amazing collective energy that pushes everyone forward. His photography didn't just get better from his own practice. It improved because of the shared experience of the whole group.
Shubham's entire journey started with just one book and one single decision to take a small, calculated risk. His story is proof that you don't have to be some kind of extreme athlete to live a life that's full of adventure. So I'll leave you with this question. Your story is still unwritten. What calculated risk will you take first?